I get started. If you can make sure that your screen is showing this welcome slide that says briefing, make sure you've got your earbuds in or your headphones on. Please also note that by registering for this masterclass, you acknowledge and agree to the following terms: the prohibition of AI note takers and recorders, the use of AI-powered note-taking tools, automated recorders, or similar technologies is strictly prohibited during this masterclass. With regards to recording and redistribution, the masterclass may not be recorded, reproduced, or redistributed in any form without explicit written permission from Lorrie Hargis herself. By attending this class, you agree to comply with these guidelines to ensure the privacy and integrity of the masterclass. If you have any questions or comments during the class, please click the hand on the control panel and type your question in the chat box at the bottom of the control panel. Normally this is on the right-hand side of your screen. All questions will be kept until the end unless you have a technical problem. If so, write it in the chat and I am Ruth. I will help you as soon as I possibly can. When you're sending the chat messages, please send them to the organizer only. And also, if it's a question, try to remember just to put a couple of question marks in front of your query so that it actually catches our eye to make sure that we can actually follow up on the questions themselves. Also, depending on your internet speed, please allow time for these slides to change and pop up on your screen. In the meantime, you still have a moment or so just to make sure that you have a pen, paper, and something to drink, like a cup of tea or a glass of water, to hand. We'll begin very shortly. Thank you all for your attention.
Welcome everyone to the Master Flower Essence class. Bring light and joy into your life with flower essences. And this is a two-part series. Today we have part 1 on depression, and tomorrow we will have part 2 on abandonment. We'll have 2 guest speakers. Today it will be Carolyn, blind from Canada, and then we'll have Mimi Russell tomorrow for abandonment, and she is in Panama. So we have quite an international group, and we want to thank all of you for coming today. This is something, flower essences are very near and dear to my heart. I got involved with them in the early 1990s because I had a client call me in the middle of the night, and she said, "Lorrie, I can't sleep. I'm anxious. I don't know what to do." And at that time, I was only working really with the physical body and using vitamins and minerals, and I was doing iridology because I was a certified iridologist, and I was not working with the emotional and mental aspect. And so I told her to take her B vitamins and, to get some rest because I didn't have any other skills. And it was interesting. The next day, I went to the office of the reflexologist and herbalist that I was learning reflexology and herbalism from. And she had a sign above a door and it said flower essences. And I said, "What are those?" And so she explained them to me, that they worked on our energy field and how they worked on our mental and emotional issues. So I started using them with my clients, and we just started seeing a big difference. And I couldn't wait to become a flower essence practitioner. So now it's been over 30 some years that I've been doing this, and I'm very happy to be able to share this information with you today and hope that you can help yourself, your friends, your family, and your clients with flower essences. I'm your master instructor, Lorrie Hargis, registered aromatherapist and certified flower essence practitioner. And I have over 38 years of experience based on the latest scientific research and ancient teachings. So today we're going to be talking about really flower medicine, flower healing. We're going to be doing some breath work. And what I want to do right now is I want to take 3 deep breaths with you, in through your nose and out through your mouth. So we can connect our brain, gut, and heart and connect all of our energy bodies. And that way we also can then start into our program today where we will start developing our mental emotional wellness to develop self-confidence and knowledge. We'll be talking about what different applications of flower essences, and we'll also be giving you formulations, and we'll be doing storytelling because we're going to be telling you stories, true stories about how flower essences have helped people. And this is all going to teach you how to direct your energy to be active, radiant, and giving. So let's do the Lorrie method of breathing, which is get your feet flat on the floor, sit up straight, and let's do 3 deep breaths together, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Let's begin. Here we go. All right. So let's go to this question. Do you have depression, low energy, and low self-esteem? How many of you have ever experienced depression? Raise your hands. Raise your hands. Okay. And how many of you suffer from low energy? Do any of you have low energy? Raise your hands. Okay. Thank you guys so much for sharing. And our last question is, how many of you feel like you have low self-esteem? All right. Thank you guys for sharing. I really appreciate it. So feeling depressed can cause us to be, like if you're constantly watching the news, fear of the future, isolating yourself from friends, not doing what you want, doing what others want you to do, suppressing your own feelings and what you really want to do in your life, not taking care of yourself. A lot of times when people get depressed, they can barely get out of bed. It's difficult. They're so down. Their everything has been suppressed. And that is the thing is, it's like suppressed, right? That's depression. And so sometimes it's hard for people to get up and even take a bath or make themselves a meal. Excuses, You can't afford or have the time for a therapist. I know there's many different kinds of forms of therapy that you can get now, that associations and things that we have in Europe, in France, where people can get free counseling, and also in the United States, you can get inexpensive counseling. My youngest daughter did that. She went to a very inexpensive counselor, and now that counselor has more experience, and my daughter goes back to her just when she needs to see her. And of course, now she's a little more expensive. But at the time, it fit my daughter because it's what she could afford. Also, having repetitive thoughts about the past, about things that you can't change, about other people, worrying about other people. And so all their stuff comes in on you, and it suppresses you and depresses you. The other thing about depression is there's a lot, we say fear of the future, but there's other kinds of fears. There is fear of everyday things. Like when you're trying, you're afraid to go outside, or you're afraid to drive your car, or fear of your own feelings. And today we're going to talk about that with my personal own case study and Carolyn's case study. So here's how I felt. And I didn't know where the depression was coming from, but I literally felt like I had a cloud over the top of my head, just like this picture shows here. And I didn't know why. What had happened is I had arrived in France, and I was there meeting my husband to be, and I was staying at his house, and he had took his living room and said, "Hey, Laura, you can make a little office here," because I was going to be there for 2 weeks. Set your computer and all that. And I started using the room, and all of a sudden, this overwhelming cloud came over the top of my head. And I tell him, I go, I feel so bad. I don't know why I feel like this. I feel like there's just something over the top of me, and I can't get out from underneath it. And so I always had Bach flowers there at his house, and of course mine. So here are the bright yellow flowers I found that started helping me. Mimulus, for fear of everyday challenges like driving the car, getting out and meeting people, just doing everyday things, doing the shopping. Since COVID, a lot of people have felt this way. They don't feel like they need to get out. They don't want to see people. They're afraid to see people. And then there's rock rose, because I was panicked, right? I was really panicked because I was like, why am I feeling this way? And rock rose is for panic. It can also be for terror. And also, rock rose is in the 5-flower remedy or rescue remedy. Then we have mustard. I use mustard because mustard is exactly for that kind of depression when you don't know where it's coming from. So I start taking these 4 drops under my tongue 4 times a day. And in the meantime, my husband to be said, Lorrie, I think the previous people who lived here, the wife had a problem in this room. And sure enough, and they just lived down the road from us. They had moved just down the road. So my husband called him up, husband to be called him up and said, hey, I remember you telling me something. He goes, yes. He goes, that's why we had a guy come in and it's called, and I think Ruth can say the word, but say the kind of person. It's a person who comes in and looks at the earth and everything around, and how the ley lines are laid in the earth around the home. And and he said he told us to do a certain thing when that happened, and she got out of it. And so, Ruth, do you recall what that kind of person is called? A geo, uh,
I'm not sure, but I think in French it's a géothérapeute.
yes. And so I don't know how you translate that into English, but they had told him to do a certain procedure, and so we did that too, and that helped. And because his house was down in under the ground, the first floor, and this room was, so it was the energy of this room, and for some reason it affected women more than it did men. And so we did the thing that they asked us to do. That helped. And then I took these flower essences and I was able to overcome it. So today we're going to talk about these flowers, how you can use them for yourself. And so you can understand how important it is to learn more about flower essences. So, do you know how to use flower essences to overcome depression? Have any of you ever used flower essences personally yourself to overcome your depression? Has anybody in the class? Oh, fantastic. That's great. I'm so glad to see that. Wonderful. And if you want to put them in the chat, put it in the chat. Go ahead and put it in the chat. And did we have someone who wanted to say something? Let us know. All right. So yeah, put the flowers that you used that helped you. So at the end of this live stream, you can and you have the opportunity to win my book, a flower essence consultation with me when you enter the quiz, a 30-minute individual flower essence call, that's free. And Ruth will put the link to that right now inside the chat. That way you can have a 30-minute individual flower essence call with Ruth or I. Ruth is a flower essence expert also, and she is graduating. She just got her certificate as a professional aromatherapist, and now she's getting her certificate as a flower essence practitioner from our school, the Lorrie International School. So you can have a consultation with she or I. All right. Now, also, we have our flower essence course and certification program that we'll be talking about today. So you guys can ask us any questions about that too. And any questions that you have. So you get a chance to win my book and you get a chance to win a flower essence consultation, which is 1 hour and it's worth $300 with me. So today you will learn what is depression, what causes depression, how depression affects your health and well-being, what is a flower essence, who was Dr. Bach, flower essences to restore your light and happiness, how to use flower essences for depression to restore your light and happiness, depression case study and formulation with Carolyn Blind, certified aromatherapist, certified flower essence practitioner. She's also certified in herbalism and much more. Then we have our quiz and how to continue your flower essence journey, and then our Q&A. So what is depression? Depression, major depressive disorder, is a common and serious medical illness that negatively affects how you feel, the way you think, and how you act. And yes, it is treatable. Depression causes feelings of sadness or a loss of interest in activities you once enjoyed. It can lead to a variety of emotional and physical problems and can decrease your ability to function at home and at work. And this description comes from the American Psychiatric Association. So what causes depression? Research has suggested that these may include stressful events. So maybe you've had a breakdown or someone in your family has died. You know, these can be very stressful events. Maybe you've gotten a divorce. And when these stressful events occur, your risk of becoming depressed is increased if you stop seeing your friends and family and try to deal with your problems on your own. If you're ever feeling depressed, please reach out to a close friend, to a counselor, to your minister, to your spouse. Don't hold things back and suppress it, because this is how people get into autoimmune diseases. It's when it starts out here in our energy field, the stress does. It starts out here in the energy field, and then it starts coming into these bodies. We have 7 bodies around us in our energy field. So it hits you emotionally first. And if you start suppressing it, it starts coming in on you. And then it affects you physically. And this has been proven scientifically by Dr. Valerie Hunt. And this is why flower essences are so wonderful, because they work on our energy field. So when we have a stressful event, it's good if we use flowers and we use friends, F and F, friends and flowers. Then personality. You may be more vulnerable to depression if you have certain personality traits, such as low self-esteem, which we're talking about today in our case study, or being overly self-critical, always putting yourself down. Again, suppression. Then the body starts saying, oh, I don't know if this is a free radical or my own good cells, because we're blaming ourselves, right? Which can lead to autoimmune, being overly critical of the self. This may be because of the genes you've inherited from your parents, your early life experiences, or both. So we do know that some people are predisposed to depression, and then a lot of times, and more than usually, it is coming from an early life experience or a life experience we've experienced now. Could be a car wreck, could be anything that could cause this kind of stress. Family history. If someone in your family has depression in the past, such as a parent, a sister or brother, it's more likely you can also develop it. You know, I think it's because you see it. You see it. I saw it with my mother. And fortunately, I got into natural health. And when I went to Dr. Bernard Jensen's iridology course, he had positive affirmations in the back of the course. And I saw those, and one day I started to do the thing where what I had seen my mother do was go to bed. And when my dad would go off hunting or do something else. And my husband and son were going to go they were going to go brand cattle. And my daughter and I weren't going. So I get this really bad headache. And then I start to lay in bed and I go, no, get up and do something with your daughter. My head was hurting so bad, but I made myself take a walk, because my parents' house was just about a mile, and walked that, went swimming, and got over it. And I didn't do that again, because I knew that was a pattern I was seeing. So we can get better when we recognize things and when we're aware of it, when we can see where that pattern is coming from. So that's where flowers help you too. So what causes depression? Giving birth. Some women are particularly vulnerable to depression after pregnancy, the hormonal and physical changes, as well as the added responsibility of a new life, can lead to postnatal depression. Menopause. Menopause is when your period stops due to lower hormone levels. Sometimes menopause can trigger depression, particularly in the first few years. Now, I do want to say this, that what I have seen with different clients and friends and associates is, if we haven't dealt with our traumas and our different traumas we've had as children and growing up till we go through menopause, what happens is, when you have all this hormonal fluctuation, then all of it comes out. It starts coming out. And then you start trying to suppress it again. Oh, I don't want to deal with this. It's coming up. I don't want to deal with it. And then you're back in the bed and you're depressed, or you're just depressed. And it's interesting, I recently had someone come to me and tell me that. And then that's when you go on medications, and there, certain medications can make you feel suicidal. So that's not always the answer either. It just depends on your form of depression. Now, I am going to tell you that I am writing a book on menopause with acupressure, essential oils, flower essences, and hydrosols with another colleague. And that book will be out by September. So if you want to be on the list to get the book first, put it in the chat and Ruth will put your name on the list. And so we will be talking about depression and then how to get through that in menopause and all the different hot flashes and things like that. So mental health symptoms caused by menopause are different from depression. Okay? So it can be, see, like I said, it could be your stuff that's coming up that you haven't dealt with. Loneliness, feelings of loneliness caused by things such as being cut off from your family and friends can increase your risk of depression. This can happen after a death in the family, divorce, or when the children leave home. I also want to add here, loneliness can be when you are an elderly person and when you have had to go to a retirement home, you don't see your family very often. Maybe you don't have any grandchildren or anybody around. Maybe your family has all passed away and you're the only one left. And this can be another thing. So it's not just, we can't forget the elderly. We really can't. It's so important. They are our jewels in society. Alcohol and drugs, when life is getting them down, some people try to cope by drinking too much alcohol or taking drugs. This can result in a spiral of depression. This can be with food too. And it can be with sex also. Anything that is addictive. So it's not just alcohol and drugs. It can be food. Maybe you're not eating, or maybe you're gorging yourself. Cannabis can help you relax, but there's evidence it can also bring on depression, and particularly in teenagers. So these are just some of the things that can cause depression. So how does depression affect your health and well-being? Sad or empty feeling for over a 2-week period. How many of you have ever had a sad or empty feeling for over 2 weeks? Raise your hand if you have. Okay, and that is a sign that you have felt depressed. Feeling hopeless or helpless. How many of you have ever felt hopeless or helpless? Thank you guys for being so honest. I really appreciate it. Losing interest in things you really enjoy. How many of you have lost interest in things you really enjoy? All right. Changes in your appetite where you're not hungry. I know sometimes in my family, people, they get where they don't want, they're so nervous about something, they don't eat. They kind of just run on adrenaline. And other people eat, right? I have other people in my family that eat when they get stressed. Nausea, headaches, and chronic pain. How many of you have nausea, headaches, and chronic pain? And just like I was saying, that day I had a headache, huh? I was going to stay in that bed. But fortunately, I got out of it. Change in sleep. Sleeping too much and not sleeping at all. How many of you guys sleep too much? You don't know if it's day or night. How many of you have ever done that? Okay. And how many of you have insomnia? Raise your hand if any of you have insomnia. Okay, it seems we have more people who have insomnia than people who sleep too much. How many have you found yourself withdrawing from friends and family? Okay. All right. A few of you. All right. Yes, quite a few. Inability to concentrate. How many of you have problems with the inability to concentrate? Stressed out or anxious? How many of you suffer from anxiety? All right. About 30% of us here in the class. And irritability or angry. How many of you feel irritable? I really appreciate you guys and your honesty. It's great. Constant fatigue. You're always tired. And thoughts, there's quite a few of you with that. And thoughts of suicide or harming yourself. How many of you have suicidal thoughts? I know a lot of teenagers do now too. They have more suicidal thoughts or harming themselves. And small children do, which is a new thing and a horrible thing. So let's look at what a flower essence is. So that way we can understand how to use them for depression and then tomorrow for abandonment. So according to Dr. Bach, each living plant has an inherent original energy pattern. So what happens is you have a bowl of water, right? And you put the flower directly into this bowl of purified spring water, and the flower is in perfect bloom. And when you put it in that bowl of water, what happens is you infuse it with the sun. It has to be a bright, sunny day. And the energy and the hologram of that flower goes into that water, and that water has that pattern now. And there's been all kinds of research done on this. And this is what we learn in our class. And we do exercises around energy and water in our class too. So you really understand these patterns of flower essences and their imbalance and then their positive aspect that they give to you and how they can change a pattern that you have, you know, a habit, an addiction, or a pattern that you have been passed down through your family. Now, that's one way you make a flower essence. The other way is where they use the flowers, and it's usually like with pine, I think it's red chestnut, a couple other ones. You do the leaves, the flowers, and the twigs. They're picked and they're boiled in the spring water for half an hour. So that's a different kind of way to obtain the energy pattern. And the person who developed flower essences, and they were Bach remedies, was Dr. Edward Bach. Now, he was born in 1886 in the north of England. He studied in Birmingham and University College Hospital, London, where he was a house surgeon. Qualified as a doctor in 1912, private practice Harley Street, working as a bacteriologist and pathologist, and he was also a homeopathic doctor. And in the early 1900s, most doctors did homeopathy. And then we had political situations here in the United States that blocked that, and it happened in other countries too. In 1917, he collapsed while working on soldiers returning from the war in France. His colleagues operated on him to find a tumor in his spleen, and he was severely hemorrhaging. His prognosis was very poor, and he was given 3 months to live. However, Dr. Bach recovered and returned to work to advance his research in the short time he felt that was left to him. But as the weeks went by, he began to get stronger. 3 months came and found him in better health than ever. He was convinced that his sense of purpose was what saved him. He still had work to do. And this is what flower essences help us with too, is to help us find our purpose and keep us on purpose. After many years of working with patients, he began to see that no matter what medication or surgery he did, his patients weren't happy. This led him to stop his practice and decide that he must do something that would change his patients' patterns, attitudes, and addictions so they could feel happy and know their purpose in life. So this is how we got Bach remedies. And he went out into nature and started studying flowers and trees, the flowers of the trees. And he started resonating with certain flowers. And what happened was he would start feeling a certain way, and then he'd go find the flower that fit that. It would come to him. He'd see it in the forest around him. And he'd start studying it and researching it and finding out its signature, its imbalance, which would fit the imbalance he had. And then he would take them and give them to the people that were around him, and then he could see how it was working. So he was like his own little laboratory, right? To see how these things worked. So when we look at the flowers that I took when I had this unexplainable depression all of a sudden, let's look at them and what they have in common. Mimulus, rock rose, and mustard are yellow flowers, which are connected to our solar plexus. And if you understand the chakra system, the energy system of the body, it's the third chakra, which is located right there at your solar plexus, which makes sense, doesn't it? Yellow flowers, solar, the sun here, right here in your solar plexus. These beautiful yellow blossoms open us up in this area and give us space to release our fears, panic, depression, and help us to feel joy. Now, have you ever said, oh, I've got a stomach ache? Oh, that really turned my stomach. That's the negative side, right? And that's when you can look to yellow flowers and that third chakra to help to help open that up so you don't shut it down. Okay? Give you that space. So the first one I used was Mimulus, and the positive qualities is courage and confidence to face life's challenges. So I didn't know what was really going on with me. I just knew I was not good, right? Pattern and balance, known fears of everyday life, such as illness, pain, accidents, poverty, of darkness. So this is really good for little kids when they're afraid of the dark, afraid of being alone, and of misfortune. So you just always think, oh, nothing's ever going to work out for me. I'm never going to have money. I'm never going to be able to do this. I'm not going to find the right relationship. This is for that kind of fear. It gives you that courage and confidence to face life's challenges. And my sister and I were just talking about that a couple days ago, about how when we were younger, we just didn't have the emotional skills. And the emotional skill that we didn't have is we didn't have the courage because we hadn't seen that. We hadn't seen the courage that we needed to face our life's challenges. So we've had to learn it through the years and also use a lot of flower essences to help us get through that pattern. This flower is in Rescue Remedy and one of the 12 healers. So that's going to be a question on the test. So the quiz. So you know that. All right. So write that down. Mimulus is in Rescue Remedy and is one of the 12 healers. And you'll learn all about the 12 healers in our flower essence course too, which is very important to understand. So what does the radiant yellow color of Mimulus represent? And look at this flower. It's just beautiful. Look at those. The spots almost look like little hearts. Look at that one. It looks almost like a little heart there, doesn't it? Like courage, opening up courage. The radiant yellow color of the flower, enlivened by bright yellow spots and its strong affinity to flowing water, suggests an outgoing quality and a release of congested emotions. So just like water, right? We need to flow and let go. Flow and let go. And think about your lymphatic system and how it's flowing through your body and how your kidneys are helping you and how kidneys are connected to fear in Chinese medicine and how Mimulus works on fear and gives you courage and works on release and helping you flow the water. Mimulus is indicated for specific worries and fears that convicts us in everyday life, from the child's fear of dark to adolescent shyness to the timidity of an elderly shut in. We also see in the names of this plant, the English monkey flower and the Latin mimulus from mim, that there is a light, heart, and joyful quality that many people feel in this flower, suggesting one of facing life's challenges. So if we go back and look at this flower, look how open it is. Look how it's open and it's like it's talking to us. The mouth on this, isn't it? And it comes out. It's like, hey, be courageous. Enjoy your life just by the way it flows by the petals. It's just beautiful. Our next flower is totally opened up, right? It's like a little chalice, and it's rock rose. And this flower is for deep fear, terror, panic, fear of death, or alienation. And the positive qualities are self-transcending, courage, inner peace, and tranquility when facing great challenges. This flower is also in Rescue Remedy and one of the 12 healers. So that's on the quiz. So make sure you write that down. Rock Rose in Rescue Remedy and in the 12 healers. And then we have mustard. Mustard, the imbalance is melancholy, gloom, despair, generalized depression without obvious cause. And that's what was going on with me. And look how it's opened up too. And if you think about mustard, in France, we have a city called, a village called Dijon. How many of you have ever eaten Dijon mustard? Raise your hand. How many of you have ever eaten Dijon mustard? Okay, quite a few of you have. So when you see the yellow fields in France like that with this flower, especially in Dijon, because that's where the mustard grows, is in Dijon. What this plant does when you eat those seeds, that mustard, it's fiery, isn't it? It's hot. Well, that's what mustard does. It gives the flower, opens you up, and gives you that fire to transcend, is what it does, and to find joy in life. That's how it works. So you think about the seed and also you think about the flower at the same time. So I know all of you are going to want to be in our flower essence course because this information is so important. And we as people who are natural health really need to have this information so that way we can share it with others. And it's not just to become a flower essence practitioner. It's to have the knowledge of what we're using and what we're doing. That's why we offer two different things to you. So like I said before, we're going to talk about what is energy. We're going to talk about how to use energy and water together. What is a flower essence? How do they work? The history of flower essences, and understanding the archetypes of flower essences. Because today, Carolyn she found the archetype of her client. And so we're going to speak about that a little bit later on when she does her presentation. We will study the unique characteristics of flower essences of the 38 Bach flowers developed by Dr. Bach and 12 of the Flower Essence Society flower essences that come from California. So like this one here. okay? The Yarrow environmental solution that I keep with me all the time. Then my daughter Zoe, who is a registered aromatherapist, certified herbalist, and botanist, she will teach you the botany. So that way you understand, why do these flowers, why do they have these personalities that they have, and how they can help your personality with your different challenges that you're experiencing. How to make a flower essence, that's really important. So that way, if you want, you can make your own flower essences as long as you're using organic flowers. Don't think you're going to go off to Trader Joe's and buy some flowers and make a flower essence. Those have pesticides on them. So and anyway, you need to get it right when it's in nature or in your garden, not go and buy some flowers from the store. How to select a flower essence and combine them, how to use flower essences for different populations. So we're going to be teaching you how to use them for children, how to use them on the elderly, how to use them on animals, how to use them on plants. Have you ever thought about that? Using flower essences on plants? It works. And how to apply flower essences and different selecting techniques. So you'll learn, how to do different selecting techniques. So our online 8-week flower essence course, anybody can be in it. It's 8 modules that you'll come for 8 weeks, once a week. It's on Monday. It starts on Monday, the 26th of January. And we'll meet every Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. That means 12 p.m. Central time. And then, of course, Mountain time will be 11 a.m. And then if you're in France, it's 7. If you're in England, it's 6 p.m. And we meet for 1 hour. And you get your course notes then. You have a complete coaching call with me. And, a lot of people have said that what they really enjoyed a lot about our class is they enjoyed because we do meditations on flowers and you really understand the flowers. And when you understand the flowers and then you understand the personality that goes with it, it makes it easy for you then to know what flower to use. You'll get individual coaching call with me, and you'll also have a weekly group coaching call. That is the online. You'll get your module, PDF file, you'll have videos, and you'll always get the recordings and the slides. You'll have the individual call with me, a 1-hour call, so you'll know what flower essences to work with for yourself, and you'll be using that during that time, that flower essence blend. So it's open. The investment is $997. And the payment plan, we have a 3-month payment plan and a 6-month payment plan. So if you're interested in that, raise your hand and let Ruth know, and she will send you the links. I only offer it once a year because then we have our flower essence retreat in April coming up. So yeah, we've got some people right now saying, yes, they want that. So Ruth, it looks like Nancy said that she wants to do that. So send her the link, and Nancy's in our Common Sense community, so she gets another 10% off. So how can learning about flower essences help you? It can help you be in the present moment, enjoying healthy relationships, having purpose, self-care, self-responsibility for your own health and well-being, a clear mind, focus, and concentration. That's if you just take the 8-week course. If you want to take the 10-week course, like we have, that's to become a flower essence practitioner. It's just 2 more weeks. And you're going to learn how to do client skills. And you're also going to learn about ethics, learn new techniques to find out what your client needs. That's important. That's why we do the one-on-one. You get that one-on-one with me of finding out the flowers you need. Because when you see how I'm doing a consultation, you're then going to know how to do one. That's important. And when we had our flower essence retreat a couple years ago here, we practiced that. we did it live, and that's what we'll be doing at the Flower Essence Retreat. But this time it's going to be a little bit different. Our theme is going to be on trauma, the whole 2 days on trauma. So you're also going to know how to start developing your skills by conducting 3 case studies. You'll have to do 3 case studies. And this will help you understand the flowers better. And this is what Carolyn is going to show you today, one of her case studies that she did of her 3 case studies to become a flower essence practitioner. And tomorrow, Mimi will do that with her case study on abandonment. Expand your practice to accompanying clients with emotional healing through the power of flowers, and also develop your intuition. Like you get a feeling, this flower could be helpful to my client, and then you discuss it with them, finding out if it's always this give and take and a mutual agreement between you. That's what it's about, finding the right flower or the right flower blend. And you'll see that Carolyn and Miss Mimi, they both did that and are still doing it as practitioners. So it's a 10-week course. It starts Monday. 10 modules. Again, it's the same class, except you have 2 extra modules. And then, of course, you have an individual curriculum call because you'll be doing your 3 case studies, and then you're going to be getting your information back from Sue and I on your case studies. So you're getting more individual attention from us, and then you're going to be a practitioner, which is quite a big deal, right? Your investment is $1,497, and then there's payment plans available. We have a 3-month plan and we have a 6-month plan. And again, it's only offered once a year. So be thinking about this as we go through the class today and tomorrow, and decide which course you would like to do, because we'd love to have you. And I am so happy to be able to share the information with you. As long as I am here on this earth, I'm going to be doing it. So let's look at how to use the flower essences for depression to bring light and joy into your life. So one of the major things that we learn in flower essences is we do the oral dropping, 4 drops under the tongue at least 4 times a day. And the reason we're doing that is because we're going with the cyclic rhythm of your body. So when you get up, if you get up at 5 a.m. or you get up at 10 a.m., you're taking your flowers and you're going through the cycle of how your body works, right? That's the reason you do that, and you usually do it for 28 days. Now, the other thing that you can do is you can take them as often as every few minutes during an immediate crisis. The strength of the dosage is increased by the frequency of the dosage, not the amount. So it's not that, you take 10 more drops. I had someone leave my office one time and they called me an hour later and said, I took all of it. I go, no. Again, it's the frequency. It's not drinking the whole bottle like this. It's taking the drops, 4 drops under your tongue like that. And then you start feeling anxious again. And you say, oh, a few minutes later, you take it again. It's like that, but it's not to take the whole bottle. Strength of dosage is increased. I said that again. You never take more than 4 drops at a time, but there's no danger of overdose from taking more. I mean, it didn't hurt her. It's just, it's not affecting your energy field the same. Because your energy field out here is only going to take what it needs, right? And by you drinking a whole bottle is just a waste of your money. Your energy field can only take so much. So that's another thing you have to think about. Other methods of administration, and you'll learn more than this, but today we're just talking about these different ways, and I'm going to give you formulations for it. Place 20 drops in bath water and circulate in a figure 8 motion. Add 14 drops of each flower essence to a 2-ounce amber bottle, misting bottle of water, and use as a spray. Okay. So here is a restore happiness bath. So you're feeling down in the dumps, You don't really know what's going on with you. You're feeling anxious, fearful. This is a great one. 4 drops of mimulus, 4 drops of rock rose, 4 drops of mustard. Put it in the bath water. Mix the flowers into the water with your hand, a figure 8. Do not use alcohol-based flower essence blends with children, animals, or pregnant women. And if you do it in a bath, of course, the hot water, the hot bath is going to evaporate the alcohol, and it's not a problem, whoever is in the bath. Feeling sad and downcast, 4 drops of mimulus and 4 drops of rock rose, 4 drops of mustard in a third of an ounce of brandy, glycerin or apple cider vinegar, and a 2/3 ounce of purified water and 1 ounce amber bottle. So what you do is you add your flower essences into an amber bottle like this, like that. You add your alcohol, a third of an ounce, then you add your water to it. And then what you do is you tap it on the bottom to ignite the energies of the flower essences, okay? And you add into the carrier. And then what you can do is you place the 4 drops on your underneath your tongue, like that. Or what you can do is you can put it on your wrist. And this is a good way to do it because I remember my daughter, my daughter, the middle daughter, who's in her 40s, when she was a young child, she would have like little fits and things. And so she was the scarlet monkey flower girl. And Carolyn's going to talk about scarlet monkey flower. And so I was using that. But when she would just really then she'd go into like a rage or something, I would use Rescue Remedy. And I would just put it on my finger and put it on the back of her neck. And then she would settle right down. And then as she started writing, learning to write, I would say, okay, you need to go in your room, put her in a room with a journal. And she started journaling. And it really helped her. I even had an old desk in her room that was given to us that was going to be sent to the dump. And what I did is I let her paint all over it, graffiti it, say whatever she wanted to say. And her friends came over, her teenage friends came over, and they would just paint on it. And then it got, it was like it was a project, a paint project. There was flowers and there was this and there was that. And it just, and then she even bought an old phone for a friend. That's when we still had cord phones, right? And you could find them and you could plug them in. And she painted that for her friend. And so she really got into like painting things. So it was quite a good thing. And now as an adult, she's a very calm adult. It's interesting. So let the light and joy in spray. This is 4 drops of mimulus, 4 drops of rock rose, and 4 drops of mustard flower essence. And I think back on my application there, it should have been like 14 drops of the whole blend that you put in, or 12 drops, but 4 drops of each. I think that 4 in the front, 14 is incorrect. So I'll fix that and resend, fix the slides. So then what you do is you either use brandy or glycerin or apple cider vinegar in the sprayer, whatever you want to do, and that way it preserves the water. Now you're going to have a smell with the apple cider vinegar, right? And a little bit with the brandy. Then you add your purified water. And then what you do is, again, you're going to tap the bottom of it. This ignites the energies of the flower essence, no matter what you put it in. And then you spray it around your body or in the office, or you spray the corners of the room, whatever, or your car. And again, you have the same contraindication. So the overview of these formulations. Mimulus helps the soul to contact the strength and purpose of the higher self and thus sets it free, experience life with greater curiosity, exuberance, and joy. While rock rose restores sun-like forces, which is, rock rose is right here. It looks like a little sun, doesn't it? Of courage to the human soul so it can meet these tremendous challenges with self-transcending strength. Mustard helps the soul to anchor and stabilize its light, leading to a sustained experience of gentle joyfulness and quiet radiance. So that's what this formulations do when the bath, the spray, under the tongue, okay? So now we're gonna have Miss Carolyn come on. She is our guest speaker and also our featured Common Sense Community January Member of the Month. And Carolyn and I she did a whole thing on personalities of plants that you need to see on our YouTube channel. So make sure you do that. And Ruth, if you could give them the link to that so they can all check that out and see what Carolyn did there. And Carolyn is a certified aromatherapist, clinical aromatherapist, excuse me. She's also a certified flower essence practitioner. She also is a certified herbalist. And she has a deep-rooted passion for natural healing with a commitment to holistic wellness. And her journey into the world of natural healing began at Wild Rose College of Herbal Medicine, where she honed her skills and knowledge. Continuing her education, Carolyn pursued studies with evolutionary herbalism, delving into the intricacies of plant energetics, alchemy, and its profound impact on human health. Additionally, her training with Joy Essence Aromatherapy and the Lorrie International School of Aromatherapy equipped her with a comprehensive understanding of the therapeutic properties of essential oils and flower essences. Carolyn is dedicated to providing personalized care and empowering her clients to achieve optimal health and well-being. So I'm going to turn Carolyn on here. And let me go to where she's at. Where are you, Carolyn? And let me see, there must be a message here. So let me go here to our chat. I think there's a message for me here. Okay, we had some people. Okay, Carolyn, there you are. I just missed you. So let me go here. I don't know why. There you are. Okay, I'm going to turn you on. I'm going to make you, how come it won't let me make you a spotlight presenter? I don't know why, but I'm going to make you an organizer so you can come on. And I'm going to put it up for you. Is that okay, Carolyn? And let me turn your sound on too. Can you turn your sound on now, Carolyn? Let me see.
Yeah, I can.
Oh, great. You never know about things, do you?
Nope.
It's always something.
Oh yeah, it's the beauty of technology.
Yeah, exactly. It's supposed to help us, but some days I go, wow, I'm confused. All right. So let's, I'm going to put up, darn it, and there we go again. I have a toolbar that keeps coming down. So now I've got it above. So now I can. So I'm going to unshare the screen, Carolyn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this down. And I'm going to put up your case study, and then I'll put up. Oh, and Ruth said she can't get into the link because, again, of for the YouTube, you guys. So I'll have to just send it to you or myself personally, because again, there we go, huh? Another thing. We now can't hardly get into each other's stuff because of all the things. So I'm put up, here's your case study, Carolyn. And I'm going to move it up just a little bit here for you so we can start at the beginning. Okay, is that big enough for everybody? Can everybody see it now? Can you, Carolyn, see it?
Yep, I can see that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And Carolyn, if you want to use your camera, you can. So I'm going to turn it over to Carolyn, and she's going to talk about her case study.
All right, thank you so much. Yeah, so I saw this client back in 2023, and he was a 59-year-old male. He worked in a high-stress position, and while he did enjoy his job, the stress and changes at work made it difficult to continue. His mood was fairly low most of the time. Drudgery at work made him apathetic with feelings of being stuck in life, resulting in low self-confidence. He suspected he had depression as well as he was apathetic and not getting pleasure out of his usual activities. This depression started about 2 years ago, although he did have periods of depression when he lived on a farm in his youth. He had persistent feelings of sadness and loss of interest in activities that once brought pleasure, which are symptoms of depression, and it also led to difficulties with memory, thinking, eating, and sleeping. In addition to stress at work, his marriage was also a stress and his recurring challenge. This and his work stress caused him to ruminate on his thoughts, allowing him only 2 to 6 hours of sleep per night. Growing up on a farm, his mother became ill when he was an adolescent and passed away. And while he wishes he could have spent more time with her, he feels okay with her death and accepts it. However, he did have issues with his father during this time, but the relationship is now repaired. He also has a history of ADD, diabetes, and arthritis. He finds that joy in his life is depleted in the city, but finds it easier to smile and enjoy himself on his yearly fishing trip. So our first session, which was from July to August, we set out goals, which included reducing his stress, increasing his mood, helping with self-confidence, as well as reducing rumination. The flower essences used in these areas include larch, pine, white chestnut, self-heal, chamomile, century, California wild rose. And to a bottle, about 3.34 mils of brandy and 23.3 mils of water, I added 4 drops of each of those. And he took those orally. So he took 4 drops under his tongue 4 times a day. And the reason why I chose those is because larch is associated with the inner quality of self-assurance. While in a negative state, the individual lacks self-esteem, feels inferior to others, and may tend to admire others while doubting his ability to succeed, leading to a fixed mindset of failure. This flower essence helps dissolve these self-imposed limitations, allowing individuals to realize their true potential with a realistic approach and tackle challenges with perseverance. Even when setbacks arise, and maintain objective assessment of any changes that come their way. Interesting thing with him is that that's actually his archetype. So he actually, when he's in his negative state, he goes right to the larch. So he does have that self-esteem issue and that inferiority when when he's stressed and depressed. I chose pine because he holds on to guilt and regret, leading to exhaustion and little joy in life. He sets a very high standard for himself, undervalues and experiences self-reproach. This flower essence helps individuals accept their faults, feels genuine regret, forgives themselves, and discovers humility and patience. White chestnut, associated with tranquility and discernment. In the negative state, the individual experiences unwanted thoughts, mental hyperactivity, lack of concentration, depression, and inability to sleep. It helps restore calm and clarity necessary for a balanced state of mind, capable of finding solutions to problems. Self-heal directly impacts our mental and emotional states, stimulating our body's natural healing processes, and is an excellent remedy for confronting significant healing challenges as it promotes resilience and receptivity to change. One thing to add to the self-heal is that as I've worked through it with it through the years, it actually helps harmonize all of the other flower essences when you put them together. So there's no fighting in between flowers that can sometimes happen. It's very rare. But that's what I've noticed with self-heal. It just brings everybody into, okay, this is what we're doing, and it gets everything to kind of work together in a harmonious way. Chamomile has calming and soothing qualities. It assists in releasing emotional tension held within the stomach. Chamomile further helps in balancing inner solar forces, leading to greater emotional peace and stability. Centauri are for those who cannot say no, continuously serve and give without replenishing their energy or needs. It helps individuals recognize their needs, allowing them to know when to say no when necessary. This flower essence allows individuals to respond to their needs and others, creating a mutual exchange. It's also really good for putting up those boundaries. California Wild Rose instills strength and courage in the heart, enabling individuals to face and overcome life challenges. So after his first session, we did our follow-up. And like I said, his archetype was Lurch. So I presented this blend of flower essences and used them 4 times daily. Initially, he experienced ringing in his ears, but that subsided shortly after. It was concluded that the ringing in his ears was partly due to the flower essences and an increased sugar intake. Although he experienced ringing in his ears before taking the flower essence at a softer level, he did note that the ringing was louder with the flower essences. It was thought that he was being called to start paying attention to his emotions and thoughts. Unfortunately, none of his goals were accomplished while taking this flower essence blend. He did not experience any reduction in his stress, still experienced low moods, his self-confidence remained low, he still experienced depression, and his intrusive thoughts continued. As he did not experience any changes, he stopped taking his flower essences after 2 weeks. After a few days of stopping his flower essence blend, he noticed he pushed his emotions down, keeping his anger hidden because he wanted to appear nice. So for a second session, which was from August to September, I showed him pictures of flowers and had him choose 6 that he thought would be beneficial, with the 7th being self-heal. Keeping his goals in mind, he chose self-heal, larch, scarlet monkey flower, rock water, arnica, buttercup, and shooting star. So only 2 of the flower essences stayed the same as the first. So that was the self-heal and larch. And again, I blended it with the water and brandy, and he took that orally, 4 drops 4 times a day. His goals did stay the same, however, he wanted to deal with his anger as well. So scarlet monkey flower is indicated for those who suppress their emotions. It provides courage to confront and acknowledge these emotions, preventing them from exploding uncontrollably. Acknowledging these experiences, the soul learns that integrating these emotions rather than repressing them is healthier. Scarlet monkey flower imparts emotional depth, honesty, and vitality to the soul, aiding in this journey towards true wholeness. Rock water, while it's not a flower, it's a solarized spring water sourced from a sacred underground spring, indicated for those with rigid attitudes. Rock water helps individuals develop flexibility and embrace life by feelings of currents of their emotional life. It opens the soul of the realm of consciousness to allowing it to experience the flowing qualities of life. Arnica is for those who experience deep-seated shock or trauma from accidents or violent experiences. These experiences hinder recovery from this flower essence. However, the individual can resolve many psychosomatic illnesses that do not respond to allopathic treatments. This flower essence can also be used in first aid to facilitate quick recovery and help achieve greater awareness of the underutilized parts of the self. Buttercup is useful for those who suffer from low self-esteem, feelings of insignificance, and who have difficulties accepting attention or compliments. It provides a luminous aura that instills self-assurance in the individual. And shooting star helps those who hold back from participating fully in early life. They may have waited long before seeking earthly incarnations and often are preoccupied with extraterrestrial existence. It is not uncommon for birth trauma or complications to occur, as the soul may hesitate or attract during the movement of contraction into physical form. Shooting star helps these souls connect them to earthly life and experience self-determination, and teaches that earth is the right place to learn about heart-impelled love. So after taking this blend 4 times, My client and his wife noticed improvements in his mood, stamina, and reserves at the end of the day. He was mentally and physically exhausted before he got home and sat down. After a week, he was more alert and had more energy at the end of the day. This increase in energy was a welcome respite and was not among his goals. There was also an improvement in his mood as he laughed easier and saw improvements in his relationship. His self-confidence had gone up. His depression decreased. He also noticed that his anger was starting to come up, and he was no longer avoiding it. It is believed that this blend is helping him resolve his depression, which started approximately 2 years ago as a result of financial trauma. He did, however, still experience stress at work and began to shut down when yelled at. His intrusive thoughts also continued, although his goal this round wasn't as focused on reducing this. The third session, which occurred from September to October, I continued to show him photos of the flowers to allow him to connect with the plants. And he chose self-heal, larch, rock water, arnica, buttercup, gentian, and golden yarrow. So this one, only two flowers had changed, which include the gentian and golden yarrow. And after discussing, he chose not to continue with scarlet monkey flower and shooting star. So again, I mixed those up for him, and he took those orally, 4 drops on the tongue, 4 times a day. His goals stayed largely the same. However, he wished to strengthen his resolve regarding challenges and sought to remain balanced without compromising his integrity. So his goals included reducing stress, maintaining his positive mood, overcome challenges without feeling discouraged, continue to reduce depression, and create a protective shield at work to protect his energy. So gentian indicated for those who tend to feel easily discouraged and disheartened by setbacks and problems, perceiving challenges as insurmountable obstacles and struggling to find solutions. This flower essence helps the soul become resilient by shifting its perspective towards long-term growth and strength. Fostering encouragement and deep faith, this flower essence nurtures the soul by allowing it to gain inner fortitude and trust in the outcomes of life events. Golden yarrow is a flower essence that helps maintain balance without compromising integrity, indicated for those who tend to shy away from public attention or performances due to their sensitivity. These individuals may become trapped in their introversion, unable to open up, finding it challenging to cope with their sensitivities. These individuals may turn to drugs or other activities that dull and harden the soul. Golden yarrow builds a protective sheath that shields while providing access to innate sensitivity, anchoring the soul in light and strength, and encouraging gentle expression of the self. While only 2 flower essences changed in his blend, he felt his stress was still high, experienced a setback in his mood as he was no longer positive, and his depression was coming back. He also noted that the energy and stamina he found with the second blend were gone. He became discouraged, and after 1 week of taking this flower essence, he found no need to continue and stopped taking it. So he experienced stress, low self-confidence, depression, and intrusive thoughts, which later led to new revelations. These revelations had him change his goals to reduce his anger, overcome his discouragement after setbacks, and protect his energy and integrity at work. While there was no change to his stress and self-confidence, depression, and intrusive thoughts with the first blend, there was improvement with his second blend. After having him look at pictures, he was able to connect with the flowers better, allowing me to formulate a more effective blend better tailored to his needs. After a second blend, he noticed improvements in his mood, self-confidence, and depression, with a bonus of increased energy and reserves at the end of the day. His relationships, including his relationship with his wife, also improved. He continued to use a third blend. Unfortunately, it didn't help him, and he discontinued it after 1 week. So unfortunately, none of the blends were able to address his stress or his intrusive thoughts. Further questioning is needed to address these concerns and determine their origin. Based on these findings, however, I would ask him if any other flower essence, such as agrimony, corn, or fillory, speaks to him. These flower essences help with emotional honesty, establishing a grounding presence, and reduce obsessive worry, respectively. If these flower essences don't resonate with him, I would return to the second formulation, as this one provided positive results. In addition to the flower essences, I would recommend that he seek therapy from a mental health expert to address any deeper emotions, to engage in meditation and yoga to help calm his mind. Yeah, I think for this particular client, once a particular archetype gets really strong, it does take a little bit more time to kind of get them out of that. But if we continue to work, it does eventually kind of break down and gets into the heart of the matter there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think the second, like you said, the second formulation with this one here with the scarlet monkey flower, really what is the formulation? Did he ever take any more after this?
No, he did not want to continue on with it.
Okay.
Unfortunately, like I said, I think it was just once the archetype and that type of plant personality, some of them just get really rooted in there for certain individuals, and it just takes time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have tried, I did try to use some, or give him suggestions on herbs and other flower essences, but he just didn't find anything to be useful or helpful.
Okay. All right. However, it's interesting because the scarlet monkey flower really hit him with and really helped his moods and helped him deal with his anger. And I found that was very interesting, along with these other yellow flowers that you used with him, which is, arnica, helping him associate better with himself, and the buttercup to help him with his feelings of low self-esteem. So this formulation is really hit him on the head. And for me, when I look at it, right?
Yeah.
It really did, because you also still had the larch in it and you had the self-heal. So you were hitting his archetype of who he is and the positive qualities that could come out. And then the red flowers, the yellow flowers, and then the shooting. It's just a beautiful blend. So I think that, if he ever decided to come back to flowers, this would be the one to come back to. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And I think some parts of it too, it's when you get too close to, home with certain blends, people kind of, oh my gosh, like they don't want to, they shy away from stuff still.
Yes, sometimes when things come up, there people then have free will to decide if they really want to heal it or not.
Yeah.
And so that's what can happen as a flower essence practitioner, or if a family member is using something, you'll start seeing them get better. And then all of a sudden they're, oh, I don't need that anymore, or I don't want to use it anymore. And it's just that they're not ready to let that go. They want to hold on to it still somehow. So energetically, that's what I see. Is that what you see, Carolyn?
Yeah. And I also think too, like, even though self heal is in there to kind of get people to want to heal, like you said, sometimes, that one certain flower, that archetype flower, is so deeply embedded in them.
Mm.
It just takes a lot more and a lot longer to get that to become more balanced.
Yeah, the imbalance is really hooked into the energy field there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you're totally right. I want to. Does anybody have any questions for Carolyn right now? So that way, Ruth, does anybody have any questions for her? Do you see in the chat anybody asking anything here? So that way we have her here. Okay, I see other questions. It looks like Sylvia has a question. Okay, Sylvia does. Let's turn on Sylvia's sound here. Let me go to Sylvia. Let me see, where are you, Sylvia? There you are. Let's turn your sound on and you can ask Carolyn directly. I'm going to send you an unmute request. Did you get it, Sylvia?
Okay. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes. Thank you
Can,
so much for being.
okay. I'm just starting new. This is my first class with you, but I have a collection, and I repeat, a collection of flower essence from 4 different companies. Desert Alchemy, the Fess, Australian Bush. And does it matter, like, for example, I have some books for each category, but do you just use one company when you're doing this, or do you just assume that everybody's stuff is all the same?
When I teach the course, we only use the 38 Dr. Bach remedies, and we use
Okay.
12 of the flower essences that I send you from the Flower Essence Society. And then what we
Okay.
suggest is that everybody uses the flower essence repertoire. Let me grab that real quick and I'll put my camera on and show it to you.
Okay.
Let me stick my camera on and I'll show it to you real quick here. Okay, can you see it?
I don't know what I'm doing here.
Can you see the camera?
Uh, I can see just the slide that she had on previous.
Oh, okay. Well,
I can't see anything.
what Ruth will do is she'll stick you the link into for the flower essence repertoire, and you can go right to their site. But we use this book,
Okay.
and that way you know. And then because this is the book that we use in the course too, the flower essence repertoire. And so Ruth will.
So might I ask you? Might I ask you about these other essences that I have? Are they pretty much useless to me because y'all don't use them, and I don't know where else to go for training for them? But I have these boxes and unopened. They're unopened new bottles, but they're just a few years old, but they've never been opened.
Oh, okay. Well, Bush essences are very good. I know Ian White. He does have online courses that you can attend on his site, Bush Essence site.
Okay.
And his essences, they work really well too. They're just from Australia. Then Desert Alchemy. Desert Alchemy, I have used those too. The saguaro I've used. I've used the different, because it's a cactus, right? And the different cactuses she has. I've used those. Those are also very helpful. And I believe that Desert Alchemy has some classes too on her site. You'd have to check it out. I've never took classes from her.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Okay.
Ian,
I also have Alaska. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I also have Alaskan essences.
Yes, Alaskan essences were developed by a flower essence practitioner. I think a couple years before I took mine, so it was during the 80s, and those really work on environmental issues. Like if you're having environmental issues with your body, and you're being like radiation, all different kinds of things. So they're very valuable too. So it sounds like you've got really good ones. It's just that when you look at what they say, for example, what they do, then you just kind of have to see, okay, do I take my flower essence? Do I add, this cactus here with, this flower from Australia, for example. However, I think that if you have a basic class like what we're teaching, the 8-week class with the 38 Bach flower remedies and the 12, I think that gives you a starting point so you really understand them. And I would not get rid of my other flower essences. Those will last 10 years because they're an alcohol.
Okay.
So keep them.
Yes, yes.
Keep them. And then,
Okay, thank you.
You're so welcome. And then Ruth stuck that in the repertoire in there for you too, so you could click that. It's called, you can go to www.fesflowers.com. All right.
Okay.
Now, thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I got these as I just didn't know what to do with these. I've had these for so long, and so I'm just like, I want to use them. I want to use them in the right way. I know because this takes a while. This is a You have to love people to want to do this because you're gonna have to be so patient.
You know,
Really love people.
yeah, Sylvia, I think you're right because, and you're going to hear a lot of stuff that is going to be horrible. That's to
Yeah,
really be honest. You're going to hear a lot of
yeah,
horrible stuff, and you got to be able to handle
absolutely.
it. And that's what we teach in our course is how to have good boundaries with your clients. So,
Okay,
all right.
okay. Well, thank you for all that information.
You're
Thank you
so
so much.
Thank you for asking. Okay, so here I've got some other questions. I've got a question from Shirley to Carolyn. Carolyn, would it be allowed to use this for a family member, the blend? Which blend? Was it the one for the scarlet monkey flower? And that one, is that the one she was talking about, I think? And Carolyn, are you still on?
Yep.
Okay, so Carolyn, also tell Sylvia about the energies from the other regions and stuff that you were answering her. So Carolyn has also an answer for you, Sylvia, too.
Yeah, so whenever we buy
Thank
flower
you.
essences, so whenever we buy flower essences from different parts of the world, we just have to remember that there are different energetics in those regions, depending on what flowers and kind of like the environment those plants are coming from. So a pine essence from Canada is going to be slightly different from a pine essence in the United States, just because of the location and the different flora and fauna that kind of grow in the different regions here. And so just keep that in mind as well when you're using those flower essences.
That's what I thought. That's exactly what I thought with all this. I'm like, who do I know from Australia? Because that would affect them because that's from their climate. Their everything is from them, from person who would be raised in Australia. I was wondering if they like over here that they would be useful. But that's my understanding is that they would, but like you said, it's environmental
Well,
Yeah,
they are.
plays a difference.
yeah, it just depends, you could have great results with them. I mean, I have used the Australian essences myself and I've had good results. I've had good results with all of them. I think it's just
Okay,
depends on what are your needs and which like Carolyn said, which pine would be the better pine, or
right.
which yarrow would be the better yarrow for you, because each company is going to have they're going to get a different energetic, what's the word? Not energetic response. They're going to resonate energetically differently because of the land, because of what's going on
Hmm.
environmentally there. So one could be a little bit different than the other and do something different that might fit you better than the other one. So,
Okay.
if you want to have a 30-minute call with us, you can. She's put that in there too, so we could help you, with an individual little call if you want.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be going to work in a little bit, but we'll get back on that one. Thank
Okay.
you.
And Ruth said too, we do teach muscle testing. So, even muscle
Ah, that's good.
testing could determine which flower
That's
you
another
use.
question.
Yes.
That's another question. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
Thank you. That
All
was a thought of mine. Okay. Thank
right.
you.
You're so welcome, Sylvia. Okay, and then Carolyn, you have a question from Shirley asking, would it be allowed to use this formulation for a family member? The one I believe with scarlet flower.
Yep.
Scarlet monkey.
Of course. Yep.
All right, so Shirley, there's your answer. And the other questions here, I have a question from Dawn for the happiness blend. Let me see here. Can flower essence be used in a diffuser? Yes, they can be used in a diffuser. Yes, you sure can. You can put those in there with essential oils, definitely. And Dawn had a question, could you use Epsom salts in the bath as well? Yes, you could. Thank you so much, Carolyn. I'll give her a round of applause for doing such a beautiful job and for being such a loving and caring person. She's done a great job with this. And let's go now back to our slides. I'm going to turn my camera off and the slides off, and I'm going to get out of this and go back to our slides real quickly here. And here we go. Thank you, Carolyn, so much for doing that. I really appreciate you.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so this was Carolyn with the first formulation, and she talked about self-heal and how important it is in our blends. And yes, self-heal is very important because it softens everything and is a helper to all the other flowers. The archetype in her, write this down, the archetype for her blend, for her client, excuse me, not her blend, for the client was larch for self-confidence. And she used 2 yellow flowers in her second formulation of her case study. And it was for arnica, deep-seated shock or trauma for accidents or violent experiences. And his mother had died when he was a young boy. So this was a big shock to him. Buttercup for the low self-esteem that he was suffering from. So we have 2 common denominators here between her formulation and mine, which is the Mimulus family genus. And you're going to learn about the botanical families and different kinds of fear. Mimulus and scarlet monkey flower. So I use Mimulus in my formulation for myself, and she used scarlet monkey flower, and they're in the same genus, which address intense emotions such as fear or anger, which are registered within the deep recesses of the psyche and corresponding physical organs. Such emotions are colorfully described as gut level feelings and are often correlated with disturbances in the metabolic region of the body. Mimulus was used in my depression formulation for everyday fears, where scarlet monkey flower was used for the man with depression, low energy, low self-confidence, because he had the fear of his intense emotion of anger. Remember, you guys can get my book. It's regularly $18.95. Ruth's going to put the link to it inside the chat for $15. And remember that it has a whole section on it in here on flower essences and essential oil blends for you. So just remember that if you already have my book. So now let's do the quiz. What have you learned so far? What is a flower essence? Was Dr. Bach a surgeon, homeopathic doctor? What are the flower essences I use for my depression? What are the imbalances that Mimulus addresses? What does the radiant yellow color of Mimulus represent? And what part of the body and chakra are connected to Mimulus, rock rose, and mustard flower essences? And what are 2 flower essences in Rescue Remedy? What are the 2 flower essences are in Rescue Remedy and the 12 healers? And is mustard flower essence for depression that you don't know where the depression comes from? So here we go. Question number 1. What is a flower essence? And Ruth is going to let us know once. I'll go in the chat to see if someone has answered this. Let's go here. And while we're waiting for the responses, we have Marcia said, how often can you use the spray? You can use it, a spray, you can use it like, for example, just during the day, 4 or 5 times a day, as often as you need it. You can spray it. Like I have one spray that I spray before every one of my clients before they come in and after they leave. So, that's at least, if I have 4 clients a day, that's at least 8 times. Okay, we've got one here. Great. The answer is flower essences are liquid potentized preparations carrying a distinct imprint. Yay, there we go. Woohoo, of a particular flower. Now let's go to the next question. Was Dr. Bach a surgeon homeopathic doctor? Yes or no? Answer the question. Yes, and Marcia said flowers are energized in water. Yes, 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 yes. We're getting fantastic. Let's go. Yes. Next question. What are the flower essences I use for my depression? What are the flower essences I use for my depression? Remember, when you participate in the quiz, then you get a chance to win the 1 hour consultation with me. Mimulus, rock rose, and mustard. Mimulus, rock rose, and mustard. We got it again. Great. There we go. Mimulus, rock rose, and mustard. It looks like we have quite a few answers from Marcia and Kathy. So keep it up, you guys. And what are the imbalances that Mimulus address? What are the imbalances that Mimulus address? What are they?
I don't know how to participate.
Known fears. Okay. Known fears of everyday things. So let's go over here. Ruth, would you please check the sound for me and turn all the mics off? Thank you. What does the radiant yellow color of Mimulus represent? What does that represent? The radiant yellow color of Mimulus represent? Courage. Great. Keep it up, you guys. And Margaret said, fear of the dark, Mimulus was for too. Great that you added that in there. Super. Known fears of everyday, Kathy, courage. Kathy, courage and confidence. All right, let's check and see what it says. Bringing in the light, Brenda. All right, let's go here. It says a radiant color, yellow, enlivened by bright and red spots. Its strong affinity for flowing water suggests outgoing quality and release of congested emotions. So if you've got a bunch of stuff stored up that you're not letting go of, it helps you release that. Okay, great. Let's go on to the next one. What part of the body and chakra are connected to Mimulus, rock rose, and mustard flower essence? Let's look at that here. What is that? What part of the body is connected to that? Let's look here in the chat and let's see what everybody is saying. Solar plexus, solar plexus, solar plexus. Good job, Brenda, Margaret, Kathy, Marcia. Woohoo, and fire. Great. So let's go. Yep, solar plexus in the third chakra. Next question. What two flower essences are in Rescue Remedy and the 12 Healers? What two flower essences are in Rescue Remedy and the 12 Healers? I can't. Okay. Mimulus and rock rose, Mimulus and rock rose. I'm getting. Good job, everyone. Margaret, Kathy. Keep it going, you guys, because you guys are getting your name up for a book and also for the consultation. And what is mustard flower essence for depression that you don't know where it's coming from? What is the question? That's a yes or no question. Margaret said, Brent, it is yes, yes, yes. The answer is yes, because you don't know where it's coming from. It's like you have this dark cloud over the top of you and you don't know where it's coming. Good job, Brenda, and good job, Kathy, and good job, Margaret. Okay, we've just got another few more questions and then we will have our winners to the book. How to use flower essences to recover. How many different applications did we discuss where you use 4 drops, Mimulus, 4 drops, rock, rose, mustard, and flower essences? What's the man's archetype flower essence in Carolyn's case study and why was it used? What are the 2 yellow flowers that were used in the case study for the man with depression, low energy, and low self-confidence, and why were they used? And how did the man feel about the second flower essence formulation of larch, self-heal, scarlet monkey flower, rock water, arnica, buttercup, and shooting star under his tongue 4 times a day? And what are the 2 flower essences in the mimulus family known for different forms of fear that were used in my depression formulation and the man with depression, low energy, and low self-confidence? First question. How to use flower essences to recover. Let's go here and see what you guys are saying. You're rocking and rolling it, so let's go to the chat and look. Drop sprays and bath. 3 kind. Oh, good job. Okay, drop sprays and baths. All right, keep it going, everybody. If you want a consultation, yes, under the tongue. So we have our 4 drops under the tongue 4 times a day. Can be taken every few minutes. Place 20 drops in the bath water, circulate in a figure 8, add 12 drops of a blend or 4 drops of each flower essence to 2 ounces of misting bottle of water and use as a spray. Next question. How many different applications did we discuss when you use 4 drops mimulus, 4 drops rock rose, and mustard flower essences? One person already answered. Sylvia already answered. How many of the rest of you can answer now? Let's look here. Let's go to our chat and let's look. How many are okay? Great, Brenda did it. Super. 3. All right, let's see if it's 3, you guys. Yep, bath orally under the tongue and spray. Good job, Marcia, and good job, Kathy, too. Next question. What was the man's archetype flower essence in Carolyn's case study? Brenda, she said it. Yep. Margaret said it. Kathy said it. All right. Keep it up, you guys. Sylvia said it. And what was the reason? Larch for low self-confidence. Yes, and Margaret said gave him more energy. Good job, you guys. And now, what were the 2 yellow flowers that she put in her case study in the second round? Okay, what were the 2 yellow flowers and why did she use them? Let's go here. Okay, Marcia's answered it. Marcia has answered it, and Brenda has answered it. Part of it. Brenda now has answered. Margaret, Sylvia. Okay, let's see what the answer is. Let's see what the answer is. Let's go. It is arnica for what? Trauma. Buttercup for self-confidence. All right. Let's go to the next question. How did the man feel after taking the second formulation of larch, self-heal, scarlet monkey flower, rock rose, arnica, buttercup, and shooting star under his tongue 4 times a day? How did he feel, you guys? Let's go and look and see what you all have to say here. Let's go back into the chat. How do you feel? Okay, great. Someone said what he felt. We need some more answers because remember, you get a chance to win that consultation. You get a full hour consultation. I tell you what flower essences that you will need. We sit down together and we have a full consultation. So, all right, let's go here. Yep, some people said his temper came out more. Yes, he realized he was angry, wasn't it? He did, So the client reported his wife noticed improvements in his mood, stamina, reserves at the end of the day. After a week, he was more alert, had more energy at the end of the day. There was also improvement in mood as he laughed easier and saw improvements in his relationship. His self-confidence had gone up. His depression decreased. He also noticed his anger was starting to come up and he was no longer avoiding it. It is believed that this blend is helping him to resolve his depression, which started approximately 2 years ago as a result of a financial trauma. And here is the next question. What are the 2 flower essences in the Mimulus family? Last question. For different forms of fear that were used in my depression formulation and the man with depression, low energy, and self-confidence. Okay, let's go to the chat again and let's see here what everybody has to say. What were the 2 flowers? The 2 flowers, one was yellow, one was red, but they're in the Mimulus family. What are the 2 flowers? Okay, Brenda's got it. It looks like. Who else is going to be up for this consultation? Let's go here. Up, we've got some other ones. Marcia's got it. Sylvia's got it. Okay, keep it up, you guys. Keep it up. Here we go. Yes, it's Mimulus and Scarlet Monkey Flower. Woohoo! You guys are rocking it. Okay, there we go. Now Ruth is going to be looking at who all answered. And as she does that, I'm going to ask you guys who wants to become a flower essence practitioner or just wants to take flower essence course. Remember, it starts next Monday, and you're going to learn how to use flower essences to help yourself, friends, family, and your clients. You're going to build your health, because when you start taking those energetically out here, all those emotional challenges that you have are going to dissipate, and your physical body is going to get better, right? You also can increase your income if you're offering aromatherapy and flower essence blends and treatments. I do reflexology too. So I use them in all my treatments with my clients. And they say to me, Lorrie, what a difference when you add the flowers to the essential oils, what a difference that we have in how our treatment is. They tell me that all the time. And also it's interesting when you're using flower essences and you've got people there and you're working with them, things come out that normally wouldn't have come out. And they'll say things like, I never even told anyone this. And so by taking flower essences, you realize also that those things can come out and they're safe with you. And, that's why you learn about ethics. We want to protect our clients too and keep them always safe. And then that's why I always use my Yarrow environmental solution to help me with boundaries. And so I don't take on other people's stuff. Okay. That's another reason. Just in general life, you can use this formulation here. Just in general, don't take on the news. Okay, so you'll need to get your supplies ordered, and let's go here. Let's see what everybody else has to say real quick here. Okay, so I had one person who said that she liked the tent won't be available next week. You could still take the course if you want. It's not a problem that you missed the first one because we have the recording, and then you could have a call with me, and that way you could take the course if and it's not a problem if you miss one call. So just, if you can't make it on Monday, just to let you know, Margaret. Okay, thank you so much, Margaret, for that. So just think about it. All right, and then our live flower essence retreat is in Bakersfield, California, here at my house on the 24th and the 25th. All right, Ruth. Anybody got any questions about the course? And let's see what Ruth has told me here. As she said, who is the winner? Let me see if she stuck it in the chat to me. Let's go here. Okay, so here we have, we're going to give the consult to Margaret. Congratulations, Margaret. Congratulations, Margaret. Congratulations. Great. So can't wait to have you for the consultation. Thank you for answering, and thank you everyone else for answering. Anybody who answered questions, you will get my book. And if you already have my book, you can give it to a friend as a gift. All right. Well done, Margaret. Go, Margaret. Like Marcia said, love new learners. Exactly. Okay. Are there any questions, Ruth, that I missed? Any questions here? Let me see here. Any questions that I missed? Oh, yes. And if you live outside the US, there is a question, it looks like from Terry. So Terry, let's go here. Let me open up your mic, Terry. Okay, I'm going to send you an unmute request. Hi, Terry. Can you hear me? Hi, Terry. I sent you an unmute request. Did you get it? While she's figuring that out, Ruth said if you live outside the US for the book, we will send you the PDF format is what we will do. So because we have a lot of people that are out of the country that are on today. And so, yeah, you will, we'll send it to you by internet. It looks like hers is not coming on, Terry. So I'm so sorry. Terry, please put it in the chat, your question, because your sound is not coming on. All right. Now, the book winners, of course, are everyone who participated. So that is Brenda, Marcia, Kathleen, Sylvia, Margaret. There's more. So Ruth, you just need to put your email address. Please email me at lorriehargis.com. Ruth will have a list of all of you guys, as Shirley and Betty too. Okay, great. So Ruth has a list, and if you're out of the country, we will send it to you by internet. And if you prefer your book being in PDF, let us know. We'll send it to you in PDF. Otherwise, I will send you a signed copy. All right. Okay, so thank you. We have quite a few book winners. Now, tomorrow, we're going to have our class on abandonment, and it's going to be with our guest speaker, Mimi Russell DeMartin. And she is going to be talking about her case study. And I am going to be talking about a case study about abandonment. And this is an important issue because we have, whether you were we're abandoned in many different forms, physically, emotionally in our lives. And it can happen to you at any time. A lot of times it's when you're a small child. However, it can happen as an elderly adult too. So we really want to bring light and joy into all of your lives with flower essences. And we want to have you guys there tomorrow. Our class will probably be a little bit shorter because we're only talking about one round of flower essences in Mimi's case study. And mine is very short. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. We can't wait to have all of you. We want to thank everyone for being here with us today. And please make sure that you take good care of yourself. And don't forget your essentials. Use your common sense. And we also want to let you know our website went down today. It's in maintenance. And so if you have any questions, please send questions to us at lorriehargis.com. And see you tomorrow. Au revoir.